Hello. Hello, everybody. What's up? Say hello. 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 Welcome, guys, to our subscriber stream. Today we're going to be doing game analysis with our subscribers. Everyone's welcome to watch and participate in the chat on Twitch and lichess. International Master, they still call me that. William Pascal. We're going to be sort of analyzing games from our subscribers, sort of. And I've got about 10 so far, so we've got room for maybe a couple more. I usually do 10 to 12 games max. I do try to analyze the games as deeply as we can reasonably do so. Here, inside of our two and a half hour, usually 2.5 hours if everything's under control, inside of our 2.5 hour stream. Welcome, everybody, to the stream. I might have to leave the airwaves for a moment or two here and there. But we're going to be going from 4:30 till around 7 p.m. Eastern Time here in the United States. What's up, Asterbait? Welcome to the chat. Asterbait, you're third in the list slow this week. Asterbait is down to third in the list. Usually he's first. I've got game submissions from Yabatis, Big Money, Asterbait, Stuk, Nils, Move 11, and Percy. I think we just got another one. That's weird. I actually knew I had Haberbomb, but weird. Haberbomb just sort of disappeared. Thought I wrote that down before. That's odd. So, yeah, eight so far. So we got room for 3 or 4 more. Instructive stream. I am the best chess streamer as far as, well, if you want to get better at the game, I think we can say that. I'm not the strongest. Perhaps Hikaru and Magnus Carlsen are a little stronger than me. But as far as instruction goes, I think I'm number 1. What's up, guys? We have lichess in the edit. Let's see, edit. Lichess in the title. I sometimes forget that. So, aka Haberbomb is here. I've got to keep a really close eye on my mother. She has Alzheimer's disease, and I'm basically responsible for her. So I've got her on the camera, keeping an eye on her. She's physically okay, but I don't want her to fall down or get up and fall down or something. So she has to kind of sit around, sleep. She should be tired, but she's not sleeping. She's in trouble now. What's up, Percy Hepworth, Asterbait, Slemon, Nils, Spectacular Camel? You guys, good to see you. Who else is here? Alex CL. Long time no see. Thanks for dropping by. So we're going to get started with our first game analysis, which is Yabatis. Yabatis is going back 6 days, I think. 5 days ago. I just clicked on Insights by accident. Here it is, 5 days ago. Hi, I submit this game for analysis. I caught a piece early on, and then I also got compensation. I wanted to play the Mexican. My opponent played e4. The Mexican defense is d4, knight to c6, guys. Alright, I've got to change my Facebook so it doesn't notify me on my phone. Which sometimes sends a random comments into other people's chats where I commented and I get a notification. That's really annoying. Nils 400 Exantmar. Can I maybe skip the queue? Oh my god. Last time you donated 10,000 to skip the queue. 10,000. No, I'm just kidding. I don't remember how much. Yeah, alright, Nils. I'm going to do the Yabatis game, and then we can do yours next for 400. 400, we'll skip over, 3 people. I think that's fair. The others don't mind, but Yabatis sent his in early. I think he deserves to go first. Alright, the rest were pretty close in order, but Yabatis was like a full week early. I'm just kidding. Just a little joke. I know how much you like my jokes. Thanks, guys, for subscribing, being part of my stream. I'm going to start here with Yabatis' game. And then Nils says, I'm sick, can I skip the queue? Sorry, sickness doesn't count. In sickness and in health, Yabatis is going first. Money talks, right? I'm not that money oriented. I don't know. I kind of feel sorry for Nils, so I'm gonna accept this. financial donation to the stream. Retorted. You're not sick. So, Yabata's playing black here. E4, knight c6. Oh man, hold on. Alright guys, let's get started here. I might have to occasionally leave, but I'll be right back. E4, knight c6, and yeah, I mean, typically you see d4, knight f3 in this position almost universally. The best is d4. It allows transpositions to e4, e5 games, so alright. Okay, with knight c3, I mean, knight c3, like other moves, it allows transpositions. Knight c3 allows e4, e5 again. But I mean, the player who's playing knight c6 doesn't necessarily want to transpose to that. So black is left in a situation where he has to decide on another approach. I think d6 is a good move, and e6 is playable, but g6 basically transposing to a kind of modern defense with knight on c6 early here. Now bishop c4, kind of playing it like a closed Sicilian. I think that you can do this closed approach against any kind of hyper-modern opening, whether it's the Pierts, the modern defense. Obviously difficult bishop c4 against the Caro-Kann. Also not very effective against the French. But sort of structures where black's pawns are based on the dark squares, like the Sicilian, e4, e5, Pierts, where you're playing like d6. It's normally okay to play something like bishop to c4. Not totally dangerous, but so now bishop c7, and then queen f3. Fool's mate. Attempted fool's mate with queen f3. The guy's 1761. Asterbate, you wouldn't do that move, would you? Hey, what's up, Yellow Dragon? Thanks everybody who subscribed to the stream. Subscribe to the stream. New openings for Yellow Dragoon. So queen f3, and this is a funny situation where, excuse me, I didn't mean to back up the mouse, but basically queen f3. I mean, you could even play knight f6 here, but the move that comes to mind is knight e5, because here we're forking the bishop and the queen, you know, and I think this is kind of a no-brainer for black here. Very important move. Basically, white can play queen e2. You grab his bishop pair, and then queen takes c4. And I think that black stands better because we have the bishop pair and the structure is not fixed. Just, it's not that bad for white. Probably he'll play a structure based on d3, and his structure won't be a bad piece. But queen is placed. This is a little bit better for black. Instead, though, it's funny. Yabata's played one of the other two very reasonable moves, basically e6 or knight f6. He plays e6, blotting out that bishop on c4, which I like. And oddly enough, I mean, you could play knight d4 next and transpose with c5 to some kind of Sicilian, effectively. But white played instead like this typical move 92 that's played in many variations, where queen on f3, c4 against Scandinavian Aliekin's defense, for example. And here he actually just it's funny. So 95. So by not playing the move on the previous move, essentially when he played e6, when he played e6 instead of 95 right away, Acerbate gave his opponent a way to lose a piece. I'm sorry, I'm going to turn off the engine. I didn't mean to leave it on. Nilsum, a question regarding engine usage. I didn't mean to leave it on. I know it slows down the stream. So being sarcastic, I'm going to put him back in his old place. I'm going to put you back in your old place in the queue. Or maybe I'll reverse you one to fund your donation. But yeah, I know this slows down the stream. I don't intend on leaving it on, but we do use it from time to time. We know if it is slowing down the stream, though. I just turned it off. I left it on too long. So, 196, I avoided saying 196 isn't great. Well, I never said that, you know. I would never say 196 is a bad move. I actually played myself. I mean, I played e4 knight c6 quite a bit. So, proceeding upwards, I'm kind of a defender of knight c6. I realize that it's not quite as good as the mainstream openings, but it's really interesting and pretty legitimate. So, I definitely wouldn't go as far as to say it's a bad move. It's a riskier defense, kind of like in the hyper-modern school of things. So white loses a piece, queen g3, knight takes c4. Funny. We're down a piece. I mean, what to say, white? I think you should attack like a madman if you're down a piece. Create some complications. D and knight back to e5, dubious, losing time. But there is no great move for black. Computer wants to play knight a5 back to the more natural square. Here, the other way. I guess that's true. If your plan is to play knight a5, knight c6, revolving back into the center, better not to allow f4 with tempo. Acerbate, excuse me, Acerbate. Ibadas like clearly like tempting to play bishop f6. Bishop f4, d6, d4, knight c6. There's nothing to see here, folks. Really. Except for Ibadas showing off a quick win. Now knight f6 is kind of a funny move, because you think he would go behind the pawn chain. Guys, don't forget, tomorrow also streaming. It'll be 12 noon. Let me just check the schedule to make sure we're on for 12 noon, because Miles did well with it, and I was always a huge fan of Miles. Some of his other openings were fun too. Miles and I actually had a game where I was white, and against Tony I played e4, knight c6, bishop b5, Percy Hepworth. Kind of like a Trumpowski on the other side of the board, just for fun. But Tony didn't do anything fun. He just like, what was it? He played e5, and I played knight f3, and we transposed to a Berlin defense, which was one of Miles's favorite lines. I think the game was a draw. But that was like an online rapid game. Okay, what am I doing tomorrow? So 12 o'clock. Yeah, we're doing the 12 o'clock stream tomorrow. Blitz and Rapid Chess with everybody. No, sorry, just Blitz. 5-3 Blitz. Fast Friday. Dim, what's up? Alright, so knight f6, castle queenside. Yeah, this is a good idea. I mean, if you're down a piece, you definitely want to create imbalance. I thought, you know, it was kind of weird that he went f6, but I think maybe Ibadas is looking for knight h5 type of ideas. On the other hand, your knight's blocking your bishop, and you're also outside the pawn chain with the knight that can be attacked by the pawn. So I see him playing knight e7. I know his style pretty well. Okay, what happened here? So bishop g5, a good move. e5. Kind of a weird move. I mean, you would think white would take here and force cap with the knight and kind of open up that rook on d1. So I don't understand why Ibadas didn't just play h6. I mean, could he possibly have been worried about something like this? Sacrificing a piece, maybe? I wonder. Why would you not play h6 here, Acerbate? Why do I keep calling him Acerbate, man? Acerbate's in the chat a lot. I always say that. Alright, h6 is e5, d5. I mean, that is weird. I mean, he has a chance to open the rook on d1 and get pressure down the d line. Some tactics, maybe like f4, e5. There's also knight d5, maybe stacking up on that pin against the knight. So that was a strange decision by white to close the lines. Just when it started looking interesting. And e7. Normal King's Indian. Black is playing the Mar del Plata King's Indian. I don't know what white's doing. This is basically a standard King's Indian position after 9 moves. 9, knight e7. White is down a piece with a different formation. Sex education. Sexual trainer, Bob. I've heard of that. That's not something I do professionally. Only in the free time. But maybe it works in Belarusia. 97, queen f3. Alright, stacking up on the guy. He misses the better queen h4, it looks like. That's a really messed up move. There's nowhere to go with the knight, and white wins a piece back after the knight. This is like, what are you going to do? You're going to lose the piece back. That's insane. Stack them up. Stack them up and rack them up, boys. Nowhere to go. I mean, you're just going to lose a piece back. Alright. So he attacks the wrong way with this move. You could even play bishop g4 now. But you just went 88. 5. We've got a good Mar del Plata King's Indian. It's always a good thing to beat, except he hasn't played c4, so it's not really a King's Indian. It's always good to be up a piece in a relatively normal looking position. f5, taking with the bishop. This move is safer than taking with the pawn. You know, I think if you work up a piece, you might consider taking with the pawn. But taking with the pawn is definitely more dynamic. So any pawn moves are always more risky than piece moves. Wow, Bottas attacking the head of the pawn chain. That's a move he normally doesn't like to make. I'm surprised. I'm surprised with c6. The only thing is he has to be careful about like queen e7, g4, and gets trapped. I think that's a definite problem. A retreat square for that. So he's a little bottled up here, even though back up a piece. So I understand this. I mean, he can get out. Maybe like just even the c7 would be a good start. Ouch. Alright, starting to pinch. Starting to pinch. We can go to d7 actually, or we can go to c8. I can't really blame him. Turn on your volume, Bob. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I'm mobile and you can't hear me. Yeah, turn on your volume. So, we're just up a piece. But white has some threats. Knight c5, maybe? There's pressure on d6. But I think slowly the white center is melted away, and it's possible that even white could get attacked. That could cost white significantly. There goes the center. And he does hop into c5, but there's really nothing going on. And once again, I see this bishop on the horizon. Rook b8. Rook f1. White's play is a little slow here. Yeah, the e4. Surprise, surprise. But maybe this move's not too subtle. We could try instead the computer idea. I think it's here. I'm going to rejoin you guys in one moment. I'll be right back. Yeah, so I think, you know, keeping the pawns like they are here, I don't care about the fact that we're up a piece at this moment. Let's just talk about general things. When you have the pawns abreast like that, you're controlling all these squares, so many squares, those two pawns. So keeping them abreast, you know, on the classic central squares is really optimal. Getting that knight also helps to coordinate all of our pieces. Ubatis, this is kind of too obvious, you know. I mean, there's a lot of ways he can protect b2. He can play c3, he can play knight d4. Now knight d6, very strong. Logical to play b3. I mean, what is white supposed to do? Stopping knight c4. The big problem here for black is the pin. You know, he's kind of paralyzed to that. You could, I guess, play just simply like bishop f6, but it would be a pity to trade off that active bishop on the long diagonal. If he couldn't hear you, telling him what to do isn't helping. That's true. All right, drop Nils down to last place. I'm gonna put him in last. Nil, can you hear me? You're now in last place on the list. All right, I hope he can hear me. Did Bob do that? Is the semi-Slav a good opening? Of course. But I don't know much about semi-Slav from black. I never played it for black. But I played against it, and it's played by so many strong players, Yellow Dragoon. I think, you know, it goes without saying. Goes without saying. I mean, if you played chess so much like I did in the 90s, you would probably have a lot more respect for the semi-Slav because, or knowledge of it being a great opening, because it was played so heavily in the 90s by all the top players, pretty much. I mean, literally, at least 80% of top players seem to play the semi-Slav, or at least play against it constantly. b3, queen a5, dropping a piece, sacrificing his piece back. It looks like. And white was like, no, I don't want a piece. I'm going to play knight a4. So what's happening after bishop takes e7? What is happening after bishop takes e7? Is rook f3. So I wonder if this was at all calculated. I really don't think so. I really don't think so. I mean, there could be some fascinating lines. Like, here's just a sampling. Like rook here, queen d2, rook takes c3 check, knight takes c3, bishop takes c3, queen e2, queen c5 check, and you grab this knight here. I mean, just for example, here's a line where black is clearly better, but I'm not sure if that actually holds water. Yeah, but I think this is just a patent mistake. And what knight a4? Let me just see. Yeah, the best move, ironically. So bishop takes e7. Good to hear you got a coach, Yellow Dragoon. Someone who plays semi-Slav, perhaps. Oh wow, knight c4. That's an awesome move. I wonder if Ubatis, did you see that? Wow, that's awesome. And it's made. Nice. That's crushing. It's just mate, man. That's a beautiful move. Snap. Ubatis might have found that one. Good chance. So, knight a4. Yeah, Yellow Dragoon, congratulations. I think you know, you're strong enough that you need a really powerful coach. So d4. Oh no, d3. This is good enough. I mean, it would be more tasty to take this with check. Turn off the engine. Obviously, that's materialistic. He's attacking with only his pawns. And the knight d4. I really should have prepared this game in advance. It was kind of complicated. I didn't know it was going to be so complicated, Ubatis. I thought it was like a wipeout, but it just keeps getting more and more complicated. Queen e3, knight e5. This makes sense to me. Black is probably winning, even if knight takes c6. Later, Yellow Dragoon. So he just completes the development. An aesthetic move, right? All the black pieces are in the game now. So protecting c6, connecting the rooks. Just enjoying being a piece up. f4, bishop g7. Again, no risk. f5, white's going for it. And then c5, attacking the knight. Still good enough. Chaos. So one would imagine that white would probably take this guy on g7. That's not going to save white here. Right? We just keep sacrificing stuff and just busting through brute force style with bishop takes b3. But if you can't eliminate that bishop on g7, I mean f6 maybe, that's also hopeless. Just simply take it, I would think. For example, rook takes f6. There's nothing that's going to save white. This is like plus 10. So b takes a4, bishop takes c3, and it's like brute force mate here. Rook b1 just doesn't quite work. We have to do this. So bishop c3 here, queen takes a4. This is better. Yeah, Asterbait would play for mate. Yabatis is not focused on every one move mate threat he can find. You need to focus, like myself, I think, Spectacular Camo, a little bit more on the brute force mates. I trust this as well. Queen takes a4. Taking it easy on him. Well, you didn't know he would let you mate him in one. Dual mates in one. With queen a3. Alright, man, that was kind of a wipeout. You think I should have mentioned it wasn't straightforward? It was a little messy. What's your final centipon loss? 47. The reverse of his, you know? So there's a significant difference, but I still think that... Yeah, I mean, you made a lot of mistakes as well. You can see the computer is kind of unforgiving. You got the reverse of him. 10 inaccuracies, 4 mistakes. He's got 10 inaccuracies, 7 mistakes, guys. Alright, we're going to start the next game. I'm going to do Nils next. Okay, Nils paid his money. Now we add him to the next in the list. Alright, Mr. Nils. So your game was originally 5th, but we're going to do you next. Please take this game. Yes, I am a moron. Well, moron, you know, that's relatively politically correct. Correspondence chess. So this is a real game, not correspondence chess. This is an OTB game, I presume. Looks like your opponent played pretty well. So I'm going to turn off the engine. Alright, so our hero is white. He's playing against e6. Yeah, that's a tough move because you never know if they're trying to play a Dutch or maybe an English defense. This move in particular is really valuable for people who play the French defense religiously. Other than that, maybe another good idea with a move would be to play... I mean, I think it would be good for people who play, like, let's say, against e4, e6, and then can play d4, c5. This is like a useful order of moves for black to play a kind of Benoni against e4 players who are unwilling to play d5. Obviously, that can transpose to a Sicilian, but I'm just thinking of reasonings for playing e6. That's e4, e6. So d4, e6. Most people who play d4, aren't always going to necessarily play e4. You know, that's important to remember. I used this for a while. I was using English defense a lot, and I would basically bluff with this move against people who play d4 like Nils, who are unwilling to play e4. And once I tried it against Hikaru, and he just played e4. it was ridiculous to play it against Hikaru because he plays e4 more than d4, at least he used to. And it happened again against someone else, I think, later. I didn't expect to play e4, they played e4 anyway. And I don't really like the Owen defense, or Owen's defense as much, the Owen defense against, I don't like the Owen defense as much as the English defense. We'll have to have this discussion with Acerbate. What's up, guys? Thanks for joining us, Dim. So we got the time control 60. Neil says the time control is 60 with 30-second increment. Okay. Anyway, he played f5. Okay, so yeah, once in the stream I tried this Tony Miles move like d5. I don't think this is a great line. It just seems like a waste of time. Also, makes the pawns kind of staggered. I wouldn't play that. I'm just mentioning random stuff. So anyway, Nils plays g3. Okay, one problem here is that there are no real like so-called anti-Dutch variations you can play once you've played d4 and c4. All the best anti-Dutch lines are gone by the wayside. Jan Belichick. My coaching staff and I watch VODs of your streams for every game. Yeah, congratulations on the playoff win there, Bill. I almost lost hope when you were losing with 30 seconds left, or what? No, it was like a minute, right? A minute and 8 seconds or something. I forget, but I almost lost hope. I admit almost losing faith. Yeah, I can't believe you guessed Donald Trump. Well, I don't know about Belichick, but Robert Kraft and Brady do. Just disappointing. But anyway, we're not going to get political here. G3, knight f6, bishop g2, bishop e7. We're going to play the Simon Williams. Uh-oh. Knight f3, castles, d6. Simon Williams. It's now the Williams variation. We should just call it the Williams variation. Forget about the classical Dutch. Who made up this classical name anyway? It should just be called the Simon Williams variation. Here, b3, Nelson lines of theory. He's obviously done his homework in openings. Personally, I always played the old school variation here, knight c3, and I've had some interesting games, classical lines with this. But b3 is not my, not my level, my area of expertise. I played this a blitz game or two. I know that this is one of the main moves. Looks like your opponent is doing. Excuse me. I just suggested a random move there. Sorry about that. Did I just add that by accident, or was that already in there? Let me just delete that. Alright, so maybe that was in there. That's not a real move. The Williams variation. So queen e8. b3 is solid. This is like Kramnik style. I mean, b3 is a good move, like, this sort of double fianchetto. It's a safe way to play against any sort of Dutch. You could do this across the board. The Leningrad Dutch, this Dutch, the Stonewall, like whatever. You can always do a b3 double fianchetto. Oh, interesting comment from Percy Hepworth. So apparently Simon's dad actually taught him to play the classical Dutch. That makes sense why he's so obsessed with it. He must have started with it like really, really early. Here, I thought that a5 is definitely a variation. But queen e8, okay, more direct. Bishop e2. So it seems more natural to put the queen on h5 here. I really don't get this move. It looks like, Nils's opponent, he thinks it's like the knight c3 variation. I don't know if you guys know this, but basically, like, it's actually called the Ilian variation. We're kind of like, Westerners who don't respect Russian names for variations, I guess. So this is Ilgin Janevsky. Ilgin Janevsky. It's hard to pronounce that. Knight c3. Where's Nefedov? We need a Russian translator. Ilgin Janevsky. It's just too hard to say. I think that's why that name has gone out of fashion. That's why it's a bad opening variation name. But so anyways, so knight c3, queen e8, and this is the idea, I guess, here. Rook e1, queen g6. This is the main line, and there's a trap here after e4. Those of you who don't know this, it's kind of cool. F takes e4, knight takes e4. Knight takes e4. Rook takes e4. Queen takes e4. Who did I look at this with recently? Stockfish. San Segundo couldn't win this position? Oh, that's insane, dude. The guy sacked his queen against San Segundo, and the guy drew. It was 2280. Oh my god. He's a competent Spanish grandmaster. Wow, he couldn't win this. This is interesting. So black had what? He has a pawn, a rook, and a knight. So technically he has like material equality. Wow. And he held San Segundo to a draw. That's crazy. Back in 2000. But that's the trap, basically. I get the feeling that your opponent like just doesn't know the difference. He thinks that you just do queen g6 in any position. A lot of people learn openings like that. They think that you just do the same formation no matter what the opponent does. I mean, this is a totally different position now. Queen is not a great square for the queen. It's an unnatural square, you know. h5 is a much better square. Why put the queen on g6? I mean, it's definitely better here. We're supporting threats against like h2. A stonewall attack style plan. Maybe knight g4. Maybe e5 and later on. So... And you're not even threatening, like, it's not even threatening to play e4. This is such a weird move. It looks like Stein against Basim Amin. That's weird, so... Alright, now we gotta have another footnote, because, weirdly, Basim Amin, this guy from the United Arab Emirates, I believe, is a strong GM, but he played this a lot. Like, he played it all the time. But he's played this twice. That is weird. So this is some kind of specialty move. So maybe black is actually following those games. But I still argue this is kind of a strange square for the queen to go to. So this is almost like... No, this is not the right idea, dude. You know, he put his queen on a weird square. He's not really threatening anything. And I think, what's he going to do? Like f4? I mean, is there any kind of serious trap here? Where's Nefedov's here? Oh, I was going to... The Ilgin Janevsky, yeah. First one is what gets me. I know how to say Yanevsky, but the Ilgin one, I don't know how to pronounce that. Is it Ilgin? Ilian? It's just... It's Ilin. It's Ilin when I say it. I can't say it right. Janevsky is okay, that's no problem. But the first one makes it too hard to say it, and that's why nobody likes that name anymore. So they're going to call it the Williams variation, because that's just a lot easier to say. Nils, knight h4, what are you doing? What are you doing attacking his queen over there? His queen is not bothering you, you know, and you're decentralizing your knight. So I don't like this move. Effectively chasing a better square. But he has sense... Nils has sense, and he like, alright, I'll just trade off the queen. True Dutch player doesn't want to compromise. Yeah, I mean, I think that Nils is slightly better in the event of an endgame. So now it's time to develop the rest of our pizzas. Knight is definitely misplaced. So now we're going to be sorry. He's going to play g5 with tempo. He didn't do it straight away. Why take half measures here with black? Let's just go. Let's just go with it. Go with the flow. You know, g5 here. And I guess something like queen h5. This can offer a different trade of queens. Maybe this is actually not a joke. And the white knight can come to d3 fairly effectively. So I don't know. I don't play the Dutch, but I play it on Wednesdays at times. Yeah, I mean, my feedback on queen g6 is like, well, it's not really a great square, you know, and so why bother it? It's not hurting you. So knight d2, c6, and then e4. And I guess the computer like didn't like this or something. So some sort of g5 is a problem. I don't know. Yeah. This is a miscalculation, I guess. He just snaps the pawn. Oh, mommy, what is going on here? You're just down a pawn? He's got a little bit of weakness around his king, but are you going to be able to use this long diagonal? This is not good. Knight takes e4, f takes e4. Okay, Nils played a great game where he sacrificed something against me. What was it, a couple weeks ago, Nils, in a Benoni? You played a really nice pawn sack with e5. So was this like literally like planned out? You intended to do this pawn sacrifice long term? If so, I mean, it's really an amazing long-term pawn sacrifice. This is the moment of truth now. The golden move would be f3. If you destroy his center effectively, you're owning black. You know, and you have massive compensation. f3, pawn takes pawn, knight takes. I'll play white here. Like a Smith-Morra against the Dutch or something. I mean, there's terrible weaknesses. It's terrific for white. You sacked it. You didn't blunder it. Okay, so, but the million-dollar question is e3, right? And what this move is going to make us feel kind of awkward because of this. So at the end of the day, if we can play knight b1 and we can recirculate and just surround this pawn here on e3, surround sound speakers, then we'll be better again. So you can absorb the pawn, you're going to be better. So my question is about this position, I would say. Let's ask the oracle. Nils obviously using an engine at the board. He found queen e2. I would have gone for f3. And this variation, this... Who was I talking to today about knight b1? I had a lesson today. One of my students today, we saw exactly the same idea, recirculating the knight back to b1. It might be a little slow, admittedly. So Nils found a better way, queen e2, threatening f3. And Nils says queen e2 is very natural. Yeah, I mean, once you appreciate the fact that it's a developing move, it connects your rooks, and you still got f3, like, pretty much no matter what, it becomes really apparent that you've made a great temporary pawn sacrifice. Nice job. So knight a6, we're a little bit worried about this. But not that worried, because once we play f3, you're going to destroy e4. He's not going to have an outpost here. So he really doesn't have anything there. I wonder if he could have tried this, you know, more mundane. This turns out to be a great pawn sacrifice by Nils. Here, here. Nice job. And now you've got the dream compensation. The ultimate Smith-Morra against the Dutch. Great position. Dead bishop, bad knight, the rook, pressure down the e-file. The black king is unsafe. Triple exclam, not quadruple. What's up, guys? Thanks for joining me. International Master William Pascal. We're going over game analysis submissions from our subscribers, but everybody's welcome to be here, participate, join the chat, take a nap like my mom. She's behaving herself better when she's sleeping. All right, knight f3 here. Well, it's easy to criticize black's moves here, stockfish. I mean, man, this is a tough position for black to defend. White's just owning. Do you guys in Europe have stores that like rent appliances and stuff like that? I mean, I never really thought about it in Hungary. I never really noticed like any stores where they have this sort of service where you rent TVs and electronics. This was a very common, it still is a very common system in the United States. And it just reminds me of commercials for that, you know, rent to own. Basically, White is renting to own black's position here. With 95, it's like rent a center. Renting to own. Almost full ownership of the position with 95 here. This is far more important. Like, this would be a great example position for teaching beginners. This is way more important than way more important than a pawn. You know, what a great position to show as an example of how beginner looks at the position, counts pieces, says, oh, well, black's up a pawn. Listen, guys, that's not important, you know. If your extra pawn's on the board, it has to work. Black's pieces aren't working here, and he's just simply in big trouble. Arsenal fan, what's up? Good to see you. Long time no see. So knight b4, nowhere to go, man. There's nowhere to go with knight b4. That does nothing. Yeah, he's just rejected. Back again. Queen e3, kind of a tactical cheat, but rook takes f6. But I like the move. You can win a pawn, basically. He's protecting. And now rook f3. Natural move. I don't know why that's bad. Another move you might consider is rook f2. A different way of achieving the same goal. The virtue of rook f2 is that you don't block your bishop, and secondly, it can't attack g4. So if you're going to double here, I would think that rook f2 is a bit more standard. Okay, I don't mind this. Great game. I also would have recaptured with the queen. It looks like Engine wanted to take with the pawn. This is kind of a weird move. I mean, because your bishop's still not that much better, and you give up, sure, you know, kind of on the backward pawn there. So queen takes e5 question mark. Well, that's kind of hard to accept that it's a question mark when it's a very natural positional move. Congratulations, Arsenal fan. That's awesome. He had a kid. Queen g7. Not him personally, but his significant other. Queen e3, bishop d7, rook f1. And now we're just hoovering the pieces for black. This is the problem now. Black's sticking around, and the more pieces he trades, the closer he is to holding on. Now you played bishop c1, another move that's hard to criticize. So even Nils's mistakes are kind of difficult to criticize. Yeah, I agree, Infinite Flash. DE wasn't a natural move, not at all. So Nefedov. All right, h6, bishop d3, knight c7. This is a move that I can't really grasp. Wow, king h1. You want to play h4? You hang a big sign on your like table. I'm gonna play h4 next. Man, I would be so aware of that. You know, literally the only point of h1 is to play h4. Otherwise, it's like a ridiculous move. You would never ever decentralize your king in an endgame such as this. Yeah, that's funny. This is kind of a long game, so we're going to continue a little faster here, guys. Wait, that's compensation, but if the bishops get traded, I'm a little bit worried. The queens got traded, so it's an endgame. Cool. I mean, this is good. Just a draw. Let's see, because Magnus would win. That's a nice move, but he probably has resources. I mean, basically, if king takes g3, it looks like he has bishop c2, and you've got to play b4. And it's like bishop takes c, like this variation, for example. King g3, bishop c2, b4. Even like takes here, maybe bishop d5. That's e4. Here. Yeah, it's just a draw. It's just a draw. That's all it is. There's nothing to look at, kids. Nothing to see here. Just go home. Unfortunately, Nils like let him off the hook with a little bit too much in the way of exchanges. I don't think he's in any danger of ever losing. So, Nils, what did you say the ratings were originally on this game? I mean, that king could rampage, you know. Could totally rampage. You actually want the pawn in the white squares. I think Nils kind of messed this up a little bit. That last move when you played this king e4 bothered me. But I'm not sure. You know, it looked to me like at this point, sorry, this bothered me a little bit right here when you played, where did it go? Here, okay, king d5. Maybe it's a draw, but I don't think we should have to allow that. You know, it looks like this position here. You get king back to e4. But I was wondering, like, why you don't put your king on e5. Is it going to be a serious problem of some sort? He was 2000. Okay. Yeah, he played like the opening kind of badly, but otherwise he seemed good. So I think this Nils here is a very significant mistake. I mean, you let his king like come up from e6 to d5. That's, even though it's like technically a draw, like he could torture you, and a weaker player could potentially lose the position. I mean, I just don't want to let him do that. This seems like an important move. After king e5, you're basically never going to lose. But when you let him play king d5, I'm a little scared that something could happen. I don't know. Probably it's just a draw, but why let him have the king up there, you know? It's still a draw. Why even give him some sort of tricks or something? So it was a little weird. Basically, Nils now has to be very careful. He has to pay attention and not make some sort of stupid move. It would have been a lot easier with king on e5. No, apparently he did. He screwed this up. Wow. So see, just to prove our point. King position. Yeah, obviously this is a threat. Like knight e3 check followed by king d3. And he's surrounding your pawn. So that's exactly what we're talking about. We gave him a situation where now you have to avoid making one inaccuracy. And that's how Magnus wins these equal positions against 2700s, you know. He puts them in situations where they literally have to play perfectly, and they don't. And they lose. Here's an example. Yeah, this is like, you know, okay, no problem. Okay, everything's fine, you know. That's it, though. You messed up. You gave him a window of opportunity. Now you're actually in a really scary situation. Wow. So he should have gone to e6 because it's giving him less options. The engine here is claiming that d5 is some sort of defense. Wow, is that for real? Like, we're going to get the king up? The idea would be to sacrifice the second pawn with c6 at some point. It looks like this is all based on somehow playing c6. That's insane. Followed by king here, king here, king here. I'm sorry, I'll turn off the engine now. That's really hard to find, especially when you're starting to get depressed and your position is kind of on the rocks. Man. Last hope. Amazing variation. Looks like Nils put the line in there. Here, king b4. And you're going here, here. And that's pretty fast. But I don't know what the evaluation is. White might hold on, it appears. The spreadsheet was wet with tears. Oh my god. So, man. Yeah, it looks like you're like losing. God. That's sick. He just snacks your pawn. And this is some sort of hallucination. You gave him a winning king and pawn in game. But I mean, what's the truth? What's the truth of the matter here? I mean, it's lost. Kind of like Zugzwang thing. He'll get his king to d5 eventually, or what? Is this trivial to win this? He needs to win a second pawn. You know, he's not going to win if he doesn't win another pawn. How does he win another pawn here? Because if you go, you know, this is weird. If you go king d5, king e4, you go king c4, and it starts to become kind of problematic again. I guess the same procedure, right? Like here and here. Basically, he'll wheedle his way back into d5 and then slowly surround stuff. You know, probably white is winning. I mean, white is lost. So, oh man, that was brutal. I think the main thing was, like, you should have never even put yourself in a situation where there was any chance you could lose at all. You know? And missing king e5 was like the final point there. But so he trades down to the lost king and pawn in game, and it's over. King d5 resigns. All right, man. That was a long analysis, worthy of the extra bits. Thanks for donating, Nils. We're gonna get back on schedule with big money. That's in this game. Thanks to all you guys for supporting the stream, Jim, Nils, Andromeda this week. Astrobate, where's the commercials, man? I didn't see if you answered me last time, but I missed your 2 bits donations. They make a big difference, Astrobate. It's the thought that counts. When you watch commercials and you donate 2 bits, it means a lot to me, personally. Guys, you can support the stream by making donations via PayPal or on our Streamlabs PayPal. If you click on the, thanks to Ubatis, if you click on the Panda GIF on the stream, the Twitch page, you can make a donation, a streaming donation there. Jim, thank you. Yeah, man, that's a pity you lost. That's ridiculous. As you get more experience, you're never going to lose games like this. 150 bits from Dim, leading the way this week with 550. Arsenal, take care. Congratulations. Rufus and Doofus is here, and he did donate 2 bits. What I'm saying is, you know, it's the thought that counts, guys. 2 bits. Thank you so much, man. Just take time out to make a donation. So, notifications. We've got big money. No whammies. Here it is. Alright, Sicilian defense, Sozin attack, main line. Oh no, this is our game. Alright, well, I always get kind of involved when I start analyzing my own games. Alright, let's check it out. So e4, c5. I'm black. Submission from Big Money. I didn't even realize this was the move order, actually. I wasn't really paying attention. But I don't think there's a great way for black to continue to try to hold on to the pawn. There was a weird move here. Let me remember. It's like, no, I'm thinking of a different position. I'm thinking of a number between 7 and 8. No, I think I'm thinking of a different position. Oh no, I'm thinking of a6. Yeah, there is a move here. This move. Come to think of it, there's a6. I'm remembering. HTFP. This is a problem for white, actually, that many people don't realize, and even I forgot. Because I just don't see it every day, you know? It seems like Yabatis would have found this. Anybody who plays the O'Kelly variation obviously would be more likely to come up with this idea, but it depends on what you play against the Smith-Morra, and it depends on what you play against well, they can also play the whatchamacallit. So there are 2 transpositions, I guess. With this, going to transpose to whatchamacallit. Basically, this is going to become a Moscow variation, isn't it? I mean, how this is not transposed to a Moscow variation after d6? It's not really, though, because white didn't play c4. Yeah, that's interesting. Normally against a6 in the Moscow variation, so this seems to have like multiple points. Like a6 is a really good move for black. But then again, you've got to be able to play the normal lines of the. You've got to be able to play the O'Kelly, but a good variation. This is the best variation of the O'Kelly for black, effectively. So this position, which I played against a bunch of you guys. Why will white take with the queen? Well, because black's playing the move a6, I guess. I don't know. It's not great though. So, all right, just for future reference. So now you know a6 is the best move for black. Okay, knight c6. Even I didn't play it because I couldn't remember. Knight f6 here, knight c3. Again, it's a move order that you don't face very often when you're black, so don't really take the time to think about it. I'm just on autopilot playing 7+3 here. Bishop c4, e6, bishop e3, a6, and now he castled kingside. So the move that's the most problematic for black is the Velimirovich, so e2. But there are different move orders. Like Alonso Sapah played this against me. Bishop e3 is kind of a tedious move because it's toying with black. Like, I could play a Velimirovich, but maybe I won't, And that's like where black has to figure out, well, what do you want to do, I don't know which is better, but Big Money just castled, and frequently I played white in these lines as well. So now, basically my strategy is normally just castle kingside. Once white castles kingside, I castle kingside. Castles, or bishop e3, queen e2. And I've never seen this move before. I actually had to take some time to think about this, and I started to go off on a tangent now. I got all over-optimistic and started messing around, basically, with knight e5 in this position, which I know is not a good move. I was just kind of playing around and having fun with an experimental move here that I wouldn't make in a tournament game. I just would not play knight e5 if this was a serious game. I know this is a hokey move, and I know its limitations, but I wanted to have some fun, so I played the move. If this was a tournament game, I would think long and hard here. I know I can just castle, but the move that I want to play is knight to g4 to try to exploit the bishop on e3. Here. But I think that truthfully, it's probably just nothing special. I mean, can't he play knight takes c6 and like bishop d4? But maybe this is actually the refutation, quote unquote, of his position. It's actually kind of similar to a position that Karpov once stumbled into with the white pieces, where he allowed knight g4 with white, and the guy just took off his dark squared bishop. Yeah, this looks a lot more like the right idea than what I did. Okay, let's see. The oracle says knight takes d4. I was unconvinced by. Castles is routine. So why is this not a good move? Oh. Right. So if bishop d4, we have e5, and we pick off his bishop, and we basically win the bishop pair. Control of d5. So I think that black has a good game. But the problem is, yes. So the problem is bishop f4. I probably looked at this during the game and came to the same conclusion. Briefly looked at this, and it was just like, oh yeah, like go e5, he just goes here. It's not Peteni Tamash. He's a Slovakian. Actually, ironically, it's a Hungarian name. But bishop g3. Yeah, so this is nothing special for black. I'm not really sure I like this that much. That's why I got confused and started to mess around. I was like, alright, I'll just play knight. See how the engine likes my move. You played bishop e3. I think I expect bishop here, but it's hard to say which one is better. So now it got really interesting, and I don't know what I intended on both bishop f4, e5, but bishop g5, that was it. So I actually analyzed this over the board. Here, 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 and something like I want to say queen f4. That doesn't work. Or does it work? It's been a while since I played the game, so I can't completely remember. Maybe it was something like this. And g4 is hanging, d6 is hanging. But you know what? Even this doesn't look like it works, because I would just go here. Oh, no, you have knight takes d6, of course. And there's something like this I like quickly went through, and I was like, okay, that's unclear. I don't know what's going on. Okay, if we analyze all my own games, we'll never figure out what's going on. But basically, this looks like a critical line. Here, here, here. And then what does black do? My knights are kind of weird, in case you didn't notice. So, knight takes h2. Wow, that's crazy. This is a fantastic move. Just a totally messed up position. And now knight f3. Alright, this is just too fanciful. Anyways. Alright, so I played knight e5, White played bishop e3, played knight g4, and he just gave up the bishop. So I thought I was good here. Take it. He takes it. But then I didn't know what to do. I mean, admittedly, black is behind in development. So I got this fancy idea that my whole advantage is based on my dark squared bishop, but I was aware the rest of my pieces are not developed, so I have to be careful. I played queen b6, completely missing the whole idea of bishop a4 check. Right now, it's not a big deal, but it will be a big deal in a minute. So we develop, and I'm a little concerned about e5. So in other words, if I play bishop d7, I may rob of its only good retreat square, essentially. This would be my first inclination. But again, you know, this move looks kind of problematic. Big Money played really well. Yeah, I just got totally unrealistic here. I mean, I knew I couldn't play e5, but I thought I had bishop f6. You know, this is my whole idea. I'm going to play e5 and let white into d5, but I'm going to play bishop f6. So at the point was when I was like, oh my god, he can play bishop a4 check. And he did, you know. And g4 is surprising, and it violates fundamental principles. 100%. You know, I have no pieces developed here. I'm moving twice, not castled. I'm basically doing all these crazy things just to try to exploit this one tactical motif of trying to pin his knight, you know, to the king. And it would have worked if it wasn't for the fact that he has this move. And I was, oh no, you know, my queen is unprotected. If my queen was protected, if it was on a7, well, that would be a different story. But if my bishop was on d8, man, I mean, I would have maybe king f8 or something. So this is forced, and now my king is just chilling in the middle of the board, opposite a rook on the d file. It's terrible for black. But I have this one chance, you know, bishop f6, here, here, here. So this is it. Can I defend here? And the temptation is to take on c3, but I really don't think that the niceties of pawn structure are going to decide this position. My king is in danger, and my bishop is a good piece, two-way player, you know, defense and offense. So h5, I think this is okay. I tried to walk away, but he has knight a4. I saw this. Apparently here I blundered. I completely missed queen b4. This move would have really limited what he could do. He would have played b3. And then I could retreat my bishop back to a7, it looks like. That might have made a world of difference. Immediately back to a7, and the guard against the queen coming to c3. I played this, and then suddenly white's still better. This is kind of what I figured would happen. Now it's very awkward. The whole situation extremely awkward for black. Not easy for white to win, but I I'm mostly concerned about F5 breaking through on the 7th rank at some point. So, but he just kind of sold out and traded down, and I was happy to simplify. So C3. At this point, I was like about the best my position has been, you know, since the opening, and I was confident that I could possibly confident that I could possibly outplay my opponent in the endgame stage. And this is basically not only to d6, but also to meet like threats of rook f7 with rook d7. So I'm consolidating now. You know, I'm basically okay. I think I misplayed the queen side a little bit here. The last move, I might have been able to play queen b5 even. I'm not sure. I kind of gave him some tempi. And then I got a target. And Big Money played really well, like almost throughout the whole game. But Black is basically hanging on. And this is risky, and I was in time pressure here. He surprised me. I mean, I expected c4 now. That seems more, you know, more consistent. And I didn't know what was going on in this position. I'm not sure if I would have found rook c8 or not, but I guess it's kind of forced because queen a4 just sucks for Black. Welcome everybody for joining me. National Master William Pascal. We're doing some game analysis with subscribers here and lichess.org. Don't forget, tomorrow I'm playing Blitz with viewers. It's going to be 5+3 Fast Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time. So c4, yeah. Anyways, all right. So we get there, try to trade queen, takes the pawn, and then I guess here I blundered, according to the engine at least. But I was running out of time. White's up a pawn, but I felt I had compensation. The backward nature, and he has b5. That should be his best shot. Then he trades queens, which gives away all advantage. After queen d6, he's still got this threat of b5. So he can still play for attack, basically. If I try to win the pawn, there's like this. I'm not 100% comfortable here. And I can't get out of the pin very easily. So this is unpleasant. But trading queens gave away everything. Now it's like white has to be careful not to lose. Apparently he missed c4 there. I'm not happy to play king a8, but... And so, like, all Sicilian names are better for Black. That's what they say. Basically, white has more pawn pieces than Black. That's the standard thing. So this is another classic Sicilian endgame where Black is better, but it's probably a draw. I was just lucky that he hung a pawn. And the rest is still not necessarily winning for me here. But let me fix his pawns. This was a very bad decision to allow me to play h4. My rook is in a good position. His king is boxed out. And he can't play g3. So I think this is probably winning. For I noticed the telemarketers call at the same time every day. Different telemarketers. It's the same telemarketers with different offers every day. Rook c4. And then it's just a blunder. Letting me trade. And it's a winning. Another winning king and pawn in game, Nils. Is Nils still here? That seems to be the theme. You know it's a telemarketer when they don't leave a message. Alright. So that's it. Enough said. Big money, good game, bad ending. Alright. Where are we at in the list, guys? How many do I have? Yeah, Nefedov, I know. Just ignore Nefedov. He's always making smart remarks after his game with me. He waits till after the game with me to make the smart remarks. Did I miss anybody? No, Haberbaum is last. Okay, so big money. Unless anyone wants to pay to be further up in the list. It'll be really money grubbing. Alright, Asterbay is up next, man. One of our most devoted subscribers. Where's Sladgie Game? There it is. It's really funny. I've been overloaded with helping my mom the past week. Things have been really tough, and I'm getting more people interested in taking lessons. The less time I have, the more interest I get in lessons. It's really funny, but the next couple of weeks could be hectic.
Sorry, I don't know that one.
I didn't say Alexa. Be quiet. Do you know that one? Alexa, show CloudCam Live View.
Okay.
Alexa, play tic-tac-toe.
Hello. I am tic-tac-toe, an Alexa skill that lets you play a classic game of tic-tac-toe. Would you like a new game now?
Yes.
A new game of tic-tac-toe
Okay, we're gonna
been prepared.
We're gonna vote.
Which position would you like to take?
We're gonna vote. Vote.
I did not recognize that position. For example, select positions by saying right, bottom, or center.
We're waiting for our subscribers to vote. Okay.
View the current game in the Alexa app.
So Astrobate Black here.
Select positions by saying bottom right, top right, or right.
Okay, center.
Okay, my move is right.
It went right. You guys hear me, right?
I did not recognize that position. For example, select positions by saying bottom right, top, or top left.
All right, let's see.
For example, select positions by saying bottom right, top, or top left.
Totally weird move here from Masturbate. He played b6 against g3. That's crazy. Weird.
I did not recognize that position. For example, select positions by saying bottom right,
Right, Alexa,
top
you're talking too much. We
left.
don't want to hear that.
I did not recognize that
top
position.
Right.
For example,
Alexa, top right.
Okay, my move is bottom left. For example, select positions by saying top left.
That's too much talk. No action. You're all talk, no action.
I did not recognize that position. For example, select positions by saying top left or left.
Top right.
Top right is not available. For example, select positions by saying bottom right or left.
Waiting for the next suggestion. Top.
View the current game in the Alexa app.
Top center.
Okay, my move is top left.
Uh-oh. Sorry guys, I did top center.
I did not recognize that position. For example, select positions by saying left.
This is a cool game, Masturbate.
View
Giving
the
up
current
this.
game in the Alexa app.
Okay guys, we're doing all right.
I did not recognize that position. For example, select positions by saying bottom right.
Be careful.
I did not recognize that position. For example, select positions by saying bottom. Nicely done. You have won this game.
We won! Oh my god.
I did not understand that. Would you like to play a new game?
No, that's boring. Let's not do that again. Alexa, show CloudCam Live View. Alright guys, back to
game in the Alexa app.
Alexa,
Would
quiet.
you like a new game?
Alright.
I did not understand that.
Alexa,
Would you
stop.
like to play? Thanks for playing.
Alexa, show CloudCam Live View.
Okay.
Alright, so this is a crazy variation that you know, Astrobate played here, but it's not that bad. So I don't think that white should play bishop takes c6. I mean, you actually do see similar ideas to this in theory. One of the most common would be, let me think, maybe in English defense, like d4, b6, Knight f3, bishop e7. I mean, you know, you will see something like this happen sometimes. Maybe bishop takes f3, e takes f3. Going the other direction. Mute. Alexa, mute. I was on a Skype call with my son the other day, and he started making it play music, which is kind of cool. It was funny. Anyways, all right, guys. So we got a cool position here. Let me get this going. B6, bishop g2, knight c6, bishop takes, d takes. Guys, what about the bit war today? I heard there was going to be a bit war, but I guess it was all a farce. Nils had to go. Clash Kid's not here. We haven't seen any other big spenders. All right, bishop takes c6. So I like this, Acerbate. You have created a position of imbalance. You have the bishop pair. You have double pawns, but you have double pawns that do control the center. I think the c5 is an important strategic idea. You can play c5 and control d4 without permanently giving up the d5 square. I mean, your other c pawn can always move up and control d5. So I think this ability to play c5 will be important here. Let's see, knight f3, and now bishop h3, just stopping white from castling. Probably knight f3 is... It's still a weird position for white in the first place. Giving up that fianchetto bishop on the king's side comes with some risk. Knight f3. Move 11, I didn't even greet you. Welcome. Congratulations. It basically move 11 led the charge in the... He's basically responsible for our win in tic-tac-toe. Andromeda 3 is here and nearly took the bit lead. Andromeda 3, thanks for subscribing and donating to support the stream. Great to see you again. One of our newest subscribers, Andromeda 3. So bishop h3, you know, I hope Acerbate doesn't do like symmetrical bishop g2, bishop takes f3. We want to see blood here, not weird symmetry. So white went to knight g5, and now black played bishop g2. So bishop g2. Bishop g2 not really well planned out. The problem with bishop g2, okay, white can't castle, but then you have to move your bishop somewhere. And ultimately on d5, it's getting trapped with e4. So we're looking at something like this, 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 and this. It's a Slav defense motif. I don't know how bad this is. We should look. For example, this variation. What's the evaluation here? This is actually okay for black. So white must have missed something better. That's interesting. So, I mean, this is not bad for black. Worst case scenario. But Acerbate, apparently, you know, you missed a strong tactic here with queen d5. Slight problem. I'm just cheating with the engine. I didn't see it right away either. It's definitely a weird position. You're not going to know that by memorization. Alright, so bishop g2, rook g1, bishop d5. That's what I expected. e4 gets a question mark by the computer. But here you went, bishop c4. Yeah, so you just don't know the Slav motif. I mean, this is actually a pretty common type of idea in the bishop e6 lines of Slav and Queen's Gambit accepted. Slemon is recording. He's requesting. He's recording too. He's requesting classical music. Thank you so much, guys, for the donations. Dim today with 550 total. Andromeda with 500 bits. Nils donated 400. We got Blitz tomorrow, 12 o'clock. Be here. White just dropped a pawn. I mean, this is terrible. And then you got this awesome Karo Khan bishop shifting diagonals if it wants to. Yeah, this is a disaster. So white played instead bishop c4. Excuse me, black. So, yeah, you missed the boat. d3, bishop a6, and now it's questionable. This is not good. What happened here to the once mighty black white squared bishop? The mighty black white squared bishop was on g2, believe it or not, just a few moves ago. Acerbate, don't forget to develop the rest of your pieces. And Andromeda might as well grab #1 spot. That might encourage some, yeah, that might encourage some bit wars. Taking the #1 spot. Pawn Grubber's here. He's asking uptime. So we've been up for an hour, almost. 1 hour 24 minutes. Is that right? Oh, we have. Okay, that's hard to believe. I'm really taking my time on these games. C4, shutting down the bishop even more. Acerbate. Oh yeah, you told me there was a lot of bishop moves. So you've gone full circle, essentially. That's cool. That's really cool, though. Now bishop e6. No, don't do that. Knight f6, e5, and now h6. He did not play it. Acerbate is allergic to h6. Dim just donated 100, so we did get a bit war. A mini bit war. Dim went to 650, outbidding Andromeda. And Andromeda with 200 says no. Now Dim with another 200. Legitimate bit war in the house. He reclaims the lead with 850. Just wait till Nils gets back. He's going to take you guys out. Thank you guys for supporting the stream. Blue-Eyed Albino, long time no see. So, Acerbate missing h6 twice, actually. Oh, no. That's costly. That's a pawn with check. Bishop d7. Back again. Back again. Obviously, black is happy with the draw at this point, but queen f4 was the best. And now we have a problem. Now we actually have a very serious problem. Oh, no. Are we just losing a piece? Yep. We're just losing a piece. So, wow. There was nothing we could do. I mean, even on queen c6, what are we going to do? Queen f3. Yeah, h6 was your last chance. You made the same mistake twice. Acerbate. In effect, like, you made it 3 times. The failure to play h6. Andromeda, you guys are having a serious bit war now. Andromeda went over the top with a 500 donation. And they're at 1,300. And Jim with 450. Offering a draw, essentially. Trying a new approach. This is almost like watching the government shut down. This is like Trump offering Pelosi, like, a compromise or something. Offering a draw. We'll see what happens. In any case, guys, thank you for supporting the stream. Andromeda and Dim with the bit war here on Thursday night. So, queen takes d3 was mentioned. Right, this is what he did. Yeah, Acerbate's good with playing for mate. He's good with playing for mate, and it makes total sense. The problem with what's going to happen is that White's going to play knight c3. And then it's a matter of the beautiful, beautiful idea of sacrificing queen d1 mate, probably. That didn't happen, sadly. I mean, I'm totally expecting here queen takes d3, knight c3, castles queenside, you know, and then White will drop drop mate on d1. This would be an awesome game. This is the game. I'm expecting knight c3, castles queenside. You know, knight takes f7 and queen d1, something like that. A great way to finish the game, but instead the opponent played f3. Natural, but not as good as developing a piece. Always develop your pieces. Well, Andromeda just came over the top with a major, major blow. 1,000 bits to go to 2,300 for the 2,300 for the day. No, for the week. They donated 300 before, so 2,000. Outbidding Dim. He's like, "Oh man, you want to make me go far, but not this week." Thank you guys. Andromeda, the champion for the week, with a 1,000-bit donation, up to 2,300 for the week, 2,000 tonight. Thank you guys for making the stream great again. No, just kidding. I mean, the stream is always great if you guys are just here with me, and it's fun. But I do appreciate it. Gone through some tough times. On a good note, my mom got her passport today, so it was really fast. Ironically, we had expedited passport service. We're going to move to Budapest with my mother. I'm going to move my mother to Budapest where I live, and we got her passport in the mail today, despite the government shutdown. But the funny part was you have to mail in these documents and stuff like birth certificate, marriage certificate, and they didn't send back this these documents, these important documents like my mother's birth certificate and our marriage certificate. We got the super expedited service, but I think because of the government shutdown, someone's just like forgot to put our documents back in the in the package. So that's kind of annoying. Is it a good idea to move there, by the way? To Budapest? Well, it's really the only idea. That's where I live. So it's better than Venezuela. That's all I know. IvyYM just subscribed with Twitch Prime. IvyYM, thanks for subscribing. Wow, new subscriber. Great donations, guys. Home is where the heart is. Uh-oh. We probably got another Facebook message from some random person on another place that I don't care about. Oh, for medical reasons. Well, I mean, to be honest with you, where I live in the United States, we're kind of not in the city. And actually, believe it or not, like the hospitals we have here locally are probably worse than, you know, some of the hospitals, much worse than some of the hospitals in Budapest. So it depends on your income, and there's like bad healthcare in Budapest, but there's also really good healthcare if you can pay for better quality of healthcare. But anyway, back to chess. So I just thought it was funny how like you get expedited service on your passport, but they don't give you your documents back. It's like crazy. Probably they're like furloughed government workers that have been replaced by substitutes. Anyways, all right, bishop h5. Azerbaijan is playing bishop h5. So what's the move here? Seriously. White played f3. And I'm not looking at the engine. I'm not trying to look at the analysis. I didn't see the move for black here. Azerbaijan at no point saw h6. He has like a total mental block against playing h6. But apparently that's the bone-crushing move. Because in this instance now, when white has played f3 up, h6 becomes all that much better, because it's like h6, for example, if take, it's not only just attacking away, you suddenly have rook takes h2 with paralyzing threats, including mate on e2. I mean, if you have some kind of medical problem, Budapest, you know, there's a lot of great doctors still. It's a cosmopolitan city. Where I live in the United States is really kind of backward, a little bit backward area. It's not that great. Not like I live in Boston. I mean, if I lived in Boston, the healthcare would be outstanding, but that's like 100 miles away. All right, so here we go. f3, bishop h5. Azerbaijan misses it again for the fourth time. Close encounters of the fourth kind with Azerbaijan. Close encounters of the h-pawn. Now this is a nice move for the bishop, man. You gotta like that bishop, but it's not enough in and of itself. And I could try queens here with queen e4. That's what he does. Hospital Norway performed surgery on several patients who didn't need surgery in order not to get shut down. At least they had a good reason for doing it. No, I mean, Slammin, it would be far worse if they just did it by accident. The good news is that they did it on purpose. You know, at least they didn't like get any patients, like, you know, vegetative state patients pregnant or something. We always got the current events going on here in the stream. So a3, bishop takes d2 check, knight takes d2, bishop b7. Azerbaijan, what do you have for your money here? I hope you're not playing one of our old friends, what's his name? No, I can't place it. The game I had on my simul, one of my simuls a week ago. Yesterday was just like up a piece against me. An extra double pawn and another extra double pawn. That's not gonna cut it. That's not going to cut it. But white needs to develop the pieces, guys. End game, it doesn't matter. You need to develop your pieces. Middle game, end game, opening, develop the pieces. Now he's finally doing it. Uh-oh. Check. Another pawn. He doesn't want it, though. Now black has the very strong threat of bishop c4. So this was a really heads-up move. Rook e8. In addition to like possible mating threats, Astrobate threatening to win a piece there. Now bishop c4 doesn't threaten anything. Or does it? Doesn't really threaten anything yet. This is strong though. A bit stronger playing for mate. Oh no. So you have a draw by repetition here with bishop f8 check? No. There's more? No, this is more. This is mate, right? Bishop c8. Mate if you go to h4 with rook h2 or h5, but you can go back with king f3. Do we have more than that though? Oh, you can just play bishop d5. No, that doesn't work either. Weird. So bishop c8, king f3, how are we winning? I'm trying to figure this out. What's the win here? That's what I don't understand. Yeah, pawn grubber. Sometimes the engine goes in circles. It wants to repeat position. So it's some other move. Check here, bishop d5, but bishop d5, I still don't think I understand what it does. So let's say the knight moves. Oh, so the secret move is bishop e6 check. This is cool. The trick is you can't b3 because you'll play rook takes d2 and rook takes d8 will mate and win a piece. But basically the trick is play bishop d5 and then you're threatening to win a piece, and when the knight moves you play bishop e6 check and chop off the bishop on d2. So that's cool. That's a tricky way to win a piece. Very hard to find that. Astrobate just kind of lashed out with h5 and then he got mated. Nice though. Nice. Very nice. Very nice. Alright guys, we're a little bit behind schedule. I've got Stuk, Nils, Move 11, Percy, and Haberbaum. And I've only got an engine left, an hour left. I'm also out of beer. So if you guys want to send me any beer in the stream, one more beer I could go for. I don't think I have to work more tonight. I have the rest of the night off, apparently. So the good news about the passport is relevant to the stream because my mother got her passport, I can take her to Budapest, which means I can make my plans for the future, which means that I can probably figure out when I'm going to go back to Budapest and start working from there again, essentially for the first time. We're aiming to go back to Budapest as soon as possible, so I'm looking at like Valentine's Day, mid to late February at the latest. So hopefully we'll be streaming from Budapest no later than the 1st of March. We might miss a week or something, sadly, guys. Checking my schedule, though, I am free tonight, so if anybody knows any beautiful girls, I better not say that too loud, who want to hang out, I'm just kidding. All right, rook takes h2. Chat. Let's just go on to the next game. I'm going to shut up now. Stuk is next. So very kind message here from Stuk. He says, I hope you and your mom are doing well. If you could take a look at my game, that would be much appreciated. So I played a good game, but things went horribly wrong near the end. Becoming a theme. Stop thinking when I'm winning. Got to rum and coke if I like rum and coke. I used to drink rum and coke. Even in Spain, I would drink ron con cola. So yeah, it's nice. Coke kind of keeps you awake. It's almost like an energy drink. Let's go this game. All right, so Stuk is playing black. E4, C5 here. Got the Sicilian, and then bishop c4. So as I said many times, guys, I mean, bishop c4 is more legit against d6 than knight c6 or e6. Other variations. Michael Adams made a living off this variation for a while for white, and he's a great positional player. Another guy was Leonid Yudazin, who later started playing it. But those guys were playing it, 20, 15 years ago and doing really well with it. But I think it's legit. And you can also transpose to an open Sicilian. You can revert back to a Sozin or something like that. You didn't swear, on a holy document that you weren't going to play d4. So that gives you some extra flexibility in playing this. Yeah, I mean, basically white's theoretically best move is probably d4 here after e6. Spectacular account saw actually a brand of cola and whiskey. That's one of the biggest problems in Budapest for a long time, was the whole concept of mixed drinks they couldn't get. 20 years ago, if you went to like a bar and you asked for whiskey with cola, they just didn't do it. You would get like a can of cola and like a whiskey. It was really weird. It took forever to figure that out in Eastern Europe. Cola was really expensive too in the old days. So d3 here. Wow, really weird move from Stook now. So this is getting too passive, man. You're just getting too passive. There's no reason to take 2 moves to develop a knight that could develop potentially in 1 move with knight f6. My first criticism would probably be the previous move. I think e6 is a little bit passive. So maybe we could opt for a different setup based on something like knight c6 and g6 and bishop g7. But anyways, I mean, e6 is not bad. But I think your options are extremely limited here. You're basically going to play either knight f6 or maybe g6, bishop g7, and knight e7. But I think you got to be careful about your move order. Azerbaiján, the Long Island iced tea would have definitely thrown Hungarian bartenders for a loop, man. In the 90s, in the late 90s. All those like ingredients. No, we don't do that. Bishop g5, h6. For those of you who don't know, my place of permanent residence is in Budapest, Hungary. And I've been there, for the better part of the last 15 years. So I make a lot of references to that. Basically, black's now playing a kind of grob after h6. Bishop g5 is a weird move. I don't think it's a great move. Because you have the ability to do this, h6 is probably not that bad. Now bishop h4, you should probably pull the trigger on g5, but it may be that you can do something else, like queen c7. Perhaps just getting out of the pin. This is delaying the inevitable. a3 is slow move. And now queen b6. Okay, this is logical. You also might consider queen c7, which is a little more fundamental at kind of controlling the center. So, but anyway, you got out of the pin and you allowed yourself just to play knight g6. I think would have been a good plan. Alternatively, you can go grob, but you're going to have problems with your d6 pawn. So you probably have to play something like knight e7, bishop g3, knight g6. And it looks like you're playing like Pavel Blatny here. But the guy did win the New York Open once, so you got to give him credit. One day, Grandmaster just wakes up and decides he's going to play weird openings from now on. It's like he used to play normal openings. And one day he just started, not going to do it anymore. Queen c1, queen a5 check, wasting time. So you're breaking fundamental principles now. I'm back stateside for a while, since October. I'm helping my mom who has Alzheimer's disease. I'm going to get her, transport her to Budapest and live over there. So I'm just finishing up the project in the next month or so of moving her. And I'm going to be back in Budapest, hopefully within about 4 weeks. Queen a5 check, yeah, this doesn't make sense. You played queen b6, you then move the queen a second time. It just isn't right. It isn't right. Knight d4. Right, so, right, okay. White might have tricks here, but this is kind of crafty from Stook. If castles, he has like queen takes e3. That's kind of a funny variation. Amplify with this. Although that position might leave some advantage, actually. Queen takes, b takes, knight e2 check. King and just snap this queen, but white has all the development, black has none. So I'm not about that. Anyways, it could come back to be a reasonable position here for black. But I'm worried about the queen there. I mean, you're leaving your king in the center too long. You gotta get the pieces out. A6 is too slow. If white just keeps messing around, it really looks like bishop a2 is a much better move here. You're just not... And I've mentioned this before, I think it's 6 games, probably. But you've got to be careful about your... Maybe that was a different player, actually. Got to be careful about your king position. You can't leave your king in the center. Maybe that was Alex, who was leaving his king in the center all the time. Waiting too long. Waiting too long to just do something with your king. You can't wait forever here. This is you know, when your king is out in the middle, opening up on the queen side. I don't like this. This is just random and bad. I mean, probably white has like knight c4. Attempts to attack your queen. b4 is a bad move. This looks like my game with... This is the... This is my game with big money. It looks just like that. Oh my god. It's a little bit worse than my game with big money, actually. It seems like. White played pretty well. Oh, you had this trick, knight e2 check. Nice. So after all that, he comes up with a tactical resource to save his butt. Nice job. Knight e2 check. And that was a surprise for white, and black wins the exchange. So suddenly, everything is a different story. White's down the exchange, and he doesn't have quite enough to prove for it. But the black king is always going to be vulnerable. It's very hard to coordinate the pieces. This is still not an easy game. Yeah, again, you're like not thinking enough about what the opponent can do here. I think you got there immediately. Queen a5 is just giving white another tempo. He should have played, I guess, knight c4. Knight b3 not quite as good. And this is kind of a weird move, queen e3, when you think about it. Finally, g5. Though, I mean, it could come back to haunt you if white plays f4 here. Now, that's probably a very legitimate question. What's going on f4? Another theme from my game with big money. I mean, would have been the breakthrough. The same thing, like breakthrough on f7 could be... Who else is the king in a long time? Yeah, and sometimes not like my game with big money. I wanted to get out of there, and I didn't. You know, that's the thing you got to be careful about, though. The following move, try this at home. Maybe this is not a bad move, though, because if you can shut that bishop down completely, you know, there might be a real case for this. I know your bishop's a great piece, but if you can make the bishop into a bad piece, you're going to be basically a rook up here. So I think there's justification for this. Take here. You also have pass pawn. Make your pawns great again. All right, that's getting old now. I know. A5, d4, c4, keeping it closed up the material, but you actually have the rook, so wouldn't mind it opening up maybe. c4, knight d2, a4. Yeah, you've got the plan. You've got this rook though that needs to join the party. You know, instead of a4, you might want to think about e5, shutting down that bishop. There are drawbacks to that, though. I mean, obviously, the white squares could become an issue. So something to think about very carefully if you want to shut down, because again, he has f4 at some point. He does do that eventually. But now, okay. I mean, now it's a different story. You have knight f5. You have a really good blockade. g4 probably shuts him down forever. And I think after g4, white just resigns. You have the ultimate win over French now. This is like the best, safest king ever in the world. Like, it's literally the safest king ever. No. It's over. f4. Give him a little bit of play maybe, but it shouldn't be enough. It's late. It is late. It is late, definitely. Rook b2. And we're going to be winning more material. Very straightforward game. Yeah, this wasn't necessary. I mean, you can just take on b1, and when he takes, you play knight e7. So off just taking the piece. You gave him some sort of play there. Be careful. Oh my god. What's happening? You're kidding me. You gave him the unnecessary saving move? You got mated? No way. Oh no. That is so sick. Wow, it's like a study. It's almost like a helpmate. You basically helpmated yourself. You know, if you're really into helpmates, my friend Yukan Afek is at a problem-solving tournament at Weekend's. I just got a Facebook message. He's like world-class problem-solving grandmaster. So you can if you want to do some helpmates, you know, head over to Weekend's. I think they're having a solving competition there. Anyways, guys, let's go to the next game. We've got Nils already, so move 11, Percy and Haber Bomb next. That went sour. That was not sour. That was like toxic, more than sour. Where's Percy? Oh, move 11. Sorry. Want to take a look at a recent game against Robert Perez in the Vienna Queen's Game decline. Robert Perez. Wow, I haven't seen this guy in a while. I beat this guy in a nice game to win the New England Open like 4 years ago. He came up to the Boston area. I'd never heard of him before, and I was like, "Who is this guy, Robert Perez?" He was rated like close to 2,500, and I was white, and I don't remember the opening now, but I did something weird, and I got this messed up, strange opening where I had no advantage, and was maybe slightly worse. But then he missed his best shot, and I outplayed him, and I crushed him like strategically, and went on to win this tournament here. It was the New England Open, like 2014, I think. One of my very, very few American tournaments in the last 5 years. And sadly, it wasn't FIDE rated, of course. That was sick. They basically cheated me out of like 20 FIDE rating points, because usually it was like FIDE rated, and that year they didn't make it FIDE rated. So Robert Perez saved like 6 rating points or something. So this is Robert Perez against Matthew. Let's see. Vienna Queen's Game decline. All right, let's take a look. That hurt, Stuk. Where is this game? Number 5? What did you say? Oh, here it is. Number 15. 5-15. All right, so yeah, I don't know where this guy came from. I mean, the name is Hispanic. He didn't strike me as someone from another country. He seemed like an American guy, but he might be, from like Florida or something where there's a high percentage of Hispanic players. Knight f3, d5, knight c3, d takes c4. So e4, bishop b4. We're all in theory here. I've had a couple games with... Well, okay, what is this? Okay, I don't know this line. I don't know this variation move 11. Basically, I only play bishop g5. So this is something that was not known to me. Probably, I never studied this, to be frank. So bishop takes c4. I am out of my theoretical knowledge here. This is apparently a commonly played move, 200 games. But I'm really out of it. So this is some sort of just straight up material sacrifice for development. You know this line. JCS knows this line. Well, you're supposed to know it if you're black, I guess. Well, I say one thing about Robert Perez. I outplayed him like brutally, strategically, and in endgame with queenless middle game kind of thing. But he may be a very strong tactical player. I mean, based on his rating, I didn't see real strength from him, but I'm assuming that he's a good, like attacking tactician, because based on the 2,500 rating, he practically has to be a really good player. But I didn't see a lot from him, strategically. So I'm assuming he's really good at tactics, which is a position. This is a position where White would probably be happy, if he's a really tactical kind of guy. It's obviously very, very similar to it. It reminds me of the Joko piano, the themes here with the capture and this like take too much and you're going to get in trouble. Obviously, there's no, e file open. Move 11, I hope you're well prepared here. What are the circumstances of this game? Good question. Maybe a tournament at the Marshall Chess Club. Assuming. This looks like a very sensible move to play back f6. I would be terrified to take the material even if I knew the theory. Apparently knight takes c3 is the main line. But certainly if I didn't know the theory, I would lean towards something like f6, basically trying to catch up in development. Let's say not catch up in development, but not get greedy, you know. Check, knight c6. Wow. Man, there's only 11 games where this position has been reached. Buenas compensazione for the pawn, no doubt. Aronian Anand, Wojtaszek, some other good players. Wojtaszek. I should really know how to pronounce that because in Hungarian it would be like Wojtaszek. Wojtaszek. Rasmus Svane against George Meyer. Okay, so that's like the status. Momentary status. Svane against Meyer, probably like some German championship or something. I mean, Meyer is an expert in every opening he plays, and the other guy is really, really strong and well theoretically prepared. So that game looks kind of important. Not good for Black that Meyer lost. But let's see what happens here. So bishop e5, this is some sort of rare move. It does seem strange to develop, you know, to move the same piece twice, essentially. We have mentioned that in the stream before. Don't move the same piece twice. So maybe, yeah, looks like most people play bishop g5. Mr. Aronian. And also knight e5. It's not moving the same piece twice, at least. Or is it? Both those moves move the same piece twice, but this move develops a new piece. If this was like Alyokhin, where's Nefedov? We're testing my pronunciation. Grandmaster and world champion Alyokhin, Alexander, was a player who strived to develop the pieces in a most efficient manner. If anybody here plays d4, especially, and wants to emulate a great player who had great respect for efficient development, I think that Alyokhin is a player that you should study his best games. I mean, this is a guy who the pieces just seem to jump out at the best squares. Excellent player for the initiative in the opening. But, yeah, okay, so bishop b5. Just one random game there. I don't know this 2600. So, there's a lot of them running around nowadays. And in that game, Black played bishop d6. Bishop e7, this is a theoretical novelty. Obviously, bishop takes a3 looks suspicious, I think, because bishop takes a3. This bishop will probably come out later to a3 where it's really, really strong. So I'm going to guess that maybe Black's best move is bishop e7. What about knight e5, though? I mean, bishop e7, knight e5, what are you going to do? Bishop d7 there. That should be okay, actually. Or can we? I just want to see. Bishop e7, knight e5. Bishop takes, well, we could just castle. And then bishop takes c6, b takes c6, knight takes c6. Move the queen somewhere, you know. Queen d7, I guess. And it's like knight e7, queen e7. Interesting. Let's see what the oracle says.